Hello, everybody, and welcome to new Stellaris showcase. I wanted to show you guys what has quickly become one of the best builds in the entire game, kind of quietly and under the radar. Besides from Virtual, this might be one of the strongest scaling builds that has ever existed, and in addition to that is fun for roleplay and has extremely flexible options for civics. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a very high scaling variant that uses Mega Corporation, Astrogenesis Technologies, and Shadow Corporation in order to accomplish what it needs to do. With this origin, basically our pops start in decline, and we have the ability to take synthetic almost right away within the first 15 years of the game. The extreme strength of this build is the extremely fast and efficient pops you can get as soon as Ascension is completed, and even though your pops will have been in decline for the first 10 or 15 years of the game, by year 30 or 40 you'll have caught up in pops and have more efficient pops than almost anyone else in the galaxy. Not only that, your pop growth will continue to maintain being high for the rest of the game, meaning by year 40 to 50 you'll have outscaled almost every other build in the game except for virtual empires. In addition, there's extreme flexibility in civics. I'm showing you guys a very high scaling variant that uses Astrogenesis Technologies and Shadow Corporation, but in addition to this, you can play much more aggressive early builds such as catalytic processing and anglers for very high early alloy economy that can match even some stronger builds at year 30, meaning you can play that variant in those kind of lobbies. In addition, there's many cooperative benefits you can get with this build too, as it is extremely strong with trade variants. For example, if one player plays Megacorp and you play with a friend who plays a trade build, that can make this build extremely broken and one of the most difficult things to deal with in multiplayer imaginable. Not only that, if another player is playing with the Shadow Corporation Civic or the Dark Matter drawing one for non-Megacorps, I forget exactly what it's called, I think it's Dark Consortium, that means you do not need to take this yourself, as you can buy dark matter from the galactic market, and we'll see why buying dark matter is important in the future. And you can instead play something like Merchant Guilds being a trade build, or take catalytic anglers, or other things like that. There are many options you can think of, depending on who's in the lobby and how you want to play. However, if you want to play single player, as I'm playing today, taking Shadow Corporation or Dark Consortium for non-Megacorps is one of the best options, as you can produce dark matter yourself and get access to extremely strong pop traits as soon as you ascend. With that in mind, the reason what we're taking Egalitarian and Fennec Materialist to boost our research speed as much as possible. Natural Engineers, Intelligent, and Thrifty boost our engineering research the most, which is the most important kind of research for this build, and Thrifty gives us a little bit of a boost to our early game economy. As soon as we synthetically ascend, we're able to reset these pop traits and select new ones to match whatever we want to do. In addition, we take a scientist leader and are going to search the galaxy for as many scientists as possible, such as the Curator Enclave, and try to get a scientist, what they call it, Paragon, in order to boost our research as much as possible, as this is kind of the most powerful thing you can do when playing this build, is rush as much research as possible and leverage your very high pop count in order to very quickly scale into the strongest player in the entire galaxy. Another thing that's very important for this build is make sure you have this setting off, difficulty adjusted technology costs, as with this on and Grad Admiral, technology will become extremely difficult and hard to come by, and it'll be unrealistic to be as strong as I am about to show you guys. Anyways, with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. Another thing about this build is the early game has very simple and achievable objectives. Now, another thing you've noticed is that I have Sirius and Alpha Centauri. This means I have selected the Sol Start homeworld, and this is additionally important because the Sol Start gives you 2 guaranteed habitables, which are very easy to identify, and it gives you the Sol system as your homeworld, which is a very good arc furnace site. Arc furnaces, if you don't know, are great sources of minerals and alloys, and having a guaranteed system that can support a good arc furnace is very powerful in today's meta. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. As usual, the first thing we're going to want to do is send our science ship out to survey and send our corvettes out to scout. It's very important to scout, as I mentioned earlier, as we want to find enclaves and other empires in order to quickly unlock the ability to interact with very, very desirable curators and and empires in order to get paragons and such, which can boost our science. In addition, we want to actually sell our entire early stockpile of food, some of our consumer goods, and some of our alloys in order to immediately start building a research lab. The reason it's so important to immediately start building a research lab is we don't want to achieve unemployment on our homeworld, which will drain us of all our consumer goods, which are quite valuable early on, as we do want to produce as many alloys as possible in order to buy our very expensive Genesis Arc chips, which we're going to see the extreme benefits of very soon. We start with mercantile, which is very nice, but I would not recommend trade capital as it will lower our tech output a little bit, and tech is more important above all else. The other important thing is we very quickly, as quickly as possible, want to buy a trade-focused leader. Now here's a 175 leader who has the ability to level up immediately and get a trade-focused level 2, which is going to be extremely powerful for our empire. In addition, if we don't have the dark matter deposit already researched at the beginning or build it immediately so you can start selling dark matter to get a really, really good early energy credit income. With this in mind, basically our entire goal is going to be to replace our entire capital with research labs basically as quickly as possible. The reason we want to do this is, of course, to boost our research as much as possible. It's definitely not, we have a ruined matter decompressor here, which is really awesome. We can restore that later. Now, I never explained what the Genesis Arc Civic does, or whatever it's called in Megacorp. Essentially what this does is it makes our colony ships cost 200 more minerals. That sounds really bad. So what does it give in return? Well, we're guaranteed to have pre-sapience on our capital and 3 pre-sapience on every single colony we colonize with these expensive colony ships. And upon uplifting these pops, which will get the guaranteed technology to do so as soon as we form our first colony, we will be able to uplift these pops to increase our empire's population, which is nice. But in addition to that, since we're going to be having pop assembly and natural biological pop growth, our pop growth is going to be extremely, extremely fast. In fact, our pop growth is going to be something like 13 to 14 in total, upwards of 16 to 17 in total when you add the assembly with the natural biological pop growth, which is as fast as Clone Army does, which is really quite remarkable. In addition to that, the uplift itself gives a large boost in Unity, so large in fact that with enough planets, our Unity production will be extremely, extremely high, and I have finished my entire Unity tree before year 60 before, which is not realistic for most games, as in that game I had a much, much higher planet count than normal, but I'm just saying that that is possible, which is really, really cool, and that Corvette is not looking too good. So once again, we're going to start to queue research labs, just make sure they never stop building. In addition, if you take a look at this situation, we can boost our research speed. Now, it's not worth it to do it right now, as our research is only 51, but as our research gets higher and higher and higher, it will definitely be worth it in order to boost our research further. Just right now, it's not really worth it. And right now, instead of taking our first tradition, as I mentioned earlier, check your leaders. If you get a trade focus one, buy that guy, and boom. If you take a look at our trade value, we're getting 104, 107 trade value without even having a trade focused planet. And if we run out of energy, we can indeed turn this on, get a little bit of extra. But once again, that will lower our tech just a tiny little. Oh, wait, that increases our tech? Oh, that's because a pop just got moved to the identity complex. But if we take a look at the trade focus thing, we get plus 15% trade value, which is fantastic. But if we take a look at Empire Capital, we get plus 10% resources from jobs, which is obviously quite a bit stronger if our main goal is technology. As you can see, also our energy credits are extremely good. And this is what we're trying not to get. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. If you get it, just click the top option, as there's really nothing you can do to stop it, as you have more pops than you have jobs. It's just the way it is at the beginning of this origin, and it will cost us a little bit of consumer goods. We're going to be like -9. Let's not worry about that yet, and we'll turn our, government or policy to consumer goods focused. As soon as we're about to run out of consumer goods, if you're a little bit nervous about it, like I am as I am talking, and will probably forget, let's go ahead and do that now. Go into our government and change this over to civilian economy. I generally want to leave this on mixed economy for as long as possible, as alloys are very hard to come by, and we don't want to kind of waste that early on. Now, once we do want to start taking our first civics, we're actually going to open statecraft, which seems a bit funny, but we need this to boost our leaders. Um, Additionally, you can just open prosperity and rush as many research labs as possible. Um, yeah, leader levels are definitely helpful because in case we want to transition to a full-blown trade build, that is usually the case when we have a lot of low habitability planets around. The best thing you can do with a low habitability planet is to turn it into a trade planet, as trade is not affected by the habitability of a planet. If you have a lot of high habitability planets, then you want to invest into a regular empire which uses energy districts and mineral districts and consumer good jobs with industrial districts and stuff to produce the consumer goods. Where if we had the other situation, low habitability planets, then we want to use a trade-based build. And that is another really, really big benefit to this build, is the extreme flexibility in the way you want to finish the game, kind of independent of how you start it. Now, we will need to switch to factory capital here, as unfortunately with the modifiers we got, it's not great. And we're going to immediately want to start expanding the council, and this is so we can start to exploit our dark matter civic a little bit more than we are now. Once again, continue to build research labs. You don't have to queue up too many, as we're going to dip into prosperity as soon as we dip into constitutional focus here. We do get the Erasians here, which is not too important for our build. Maybe there's something you can do good with it, but in general, the precursors don't have too much of an effect on the early game. And we're just going to go ahead and get our ship to go around and explore some more, as we do want to kind of find out what's near us and explore out into the galaxy. I don't want to waste too much unity on ships right away, but we will very soon. Also, let's go ahead and build our first star base. And once again, once we have enough, we want to switch back to Empire Capital, as we do want to trickle in these excuse me, I'm a little bit sick right now, so excuse the coughs and that kind of thing. I'm going to do it. It's unfortunate, but it is how it is right now. I've been waiting so long to make this video, but I've been sick for so long, and I just want to make it. Also, in addition, if you know better ways to play this build, I have not played any tournament games or anything like that with this build yet. There is a lot of room for optimization, so if you have any of those, feel free to throw it in the comments. I would love to hear what I'm doing wrong, basically, and what can be done better. For example, if you think prosperity dip at the beginning is better, or other civics traits, anything like that, I'd love to hear it, as I'm always looking to improve. And I also don't want to spread any incorrect information. I'm not claiming this is the best way to play synthetic fertility. I'm just claiming that this is a really, really awesome and strong way to play it. Generally, like, as our energy credits right now are pretty good, right? I don't actually want, at least for me, to switch to a what's it called? A research focused situation, which lowers our energy credits by 40% in exchange for 20% engineering speed just yet. I personally like to wait until I have more engineering speed already, or like more engineering tech, as that way it feels like a little bit less of a waste of energy credits, because right now our energy credit production is high and our tech is kind of low, and later on our tech will be high and our energy credits will be low. So obviously that seems like a better time to invest into technology. Another thing you'll notice is that we actually can't build a colony ship right now. There's no potential colonists, as you know, our pops don't grow, which is a bit unfortunate. However, as soon as we finish droid technology, we'll be able to build a droid colony ship and start to take advantage. And this is something I'm not sure which is optimal, but I like to immediately delete the robot assembly plant, as I do not want roboticist jobs that eat alloys. And what? I hate the slow job updates. It's very annoying. Also, we can go ahead and delete our enforcer now. It's no longer necessary with the lower pop count. And continue to fill up our entire planet with labs. Um, One thing you can do to minimax here is you can go prosperity, right? Without taking amongst peers, and only take amongst peers as our next agenda is coming to a close. Also, we're going to go ahead and take hydroponics farming here, as that will help us get rid of all our farming jobs, which is of course something we want to do. Farming jobs for non-catalytic empires are of course not very ideal. And here we go, we've dipped into this, which means we can reset this in order to get a slightly cheaper build cost. And another thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to replace every single building on the capital that doesn't produce tech into a technology lab, as, why not? In addition, we're going to build as many mining and research stations as possible, as getting free stuff from space is great. Also, we need to switch back to factory capital immediately, as we're getting really, really low on consumer goods. A little bit of juggling will be necessary in order to balance these out, switching our capital between factory and forge in order to balance our output there. In addition, as our labs get high, we might need an additional industrial district, or to simply purchase 5 to 10 consumer goods per month, as our population is going down at the same time, right? We don't need so many consumer good jobs in the future, at least. All right. Anyhow, as you can see, this build is actually not that difficult or micro heavy. Compared to the likes of Clone Army, I would say you need probably less than half the clicks to achieve the same thing, which is another really big benefit. When I'm trying to minimax Clone Army, it is a nightmare trying to keep up with everything going on. Government changes, relocating pops, all of it is kind of needed to maximize Clone Army, where for this build it's kind of set up your planet to become all labs and then just chill. It's actually pretty nice. Also, we do want to create this pop at the end of this queue, which is just a nice thing that we can do. Right now we're at 178 tech. I think as soon as we go over 200, I will say that's a good time. Excuse me. A little bit of coughing there. As soon as we go over 200 is a good time to kind of start, what's it called? Using this extra research focus. Before that, it just kind of seems like it's not really worth it. Also, we can take on capacity subsidies here, as there's really no downside to doing so, as it's under our edict cap. As you can see, we're also exploring out just a little bit, and we very unfortunately see that we have a very nearby neighbor who is likely going to expand into our chain of planets, which means we might be stuck back here with only a few planets. This means we're either going to have to conquer this player or kind of sneak past them and hope there's planets in funny locations like this unexplored system and some of these systems back here, as the more planets for this build, the better. Also, as you can see, we're not actually taking Cirrus right away, as we need as many alloys as possible, but we also can because we'll still have enough for the colony ship, and I do want these 2 deposits, which are really, really lucky deposits, as they are quite large. Also, you can see our consumer good and alloy economy is really going to be stretched thin, but that's kind of how this build is, and that's what keeps it fun. And also now we can go ahead and swap into research focus in order to speed up our engineering research, which means our energy credits are going to be terrible. Yeah, taking a look at this, we're going to have to lay off on the mineral purchase just a little bit, but for now we actually still have a good amount of mineral income, and our economy is stable. Another benefit of this build actually is our empire size will actually stay small for a very long time, whilst still maintaining a large amount of tech, which is actually a really, really kind of nice little side effect. Also, we don't want pop growth speed, as we have no pops. We're just going to take a cheaper option. Also, we don't have to worry too hard about food, as we can very quickly build a hydroponics farm as soon as we can kind of make sure it's not going to sabotage our colony ship, as that is the most important thing, is getting a colony up in order to start uplifting pops. Uplifting pops, of course, will give us access to the big unity boosts I was talking about before, and those big unity boosts will be very important for finishing the synth tradition tree. as our Unity income, as you can see, is very, very poor with this build. Especially since if we cannot find a trade league, um, it will continue to be really poor. If we can go into a trade league. Like if this empire here is friendly and is very easy to do deals with, then we can go ahead and do a trade league. That is why I selected, which I usually do not recommend, the friendly diplomatic stance for making first contact, as usually you want to take over any pre-FTLs if you can. I'm not going to lie, I've had extreme difficulty taking over pre-FTLs with this build, as our early game economy, as you can see, is questionable to say the best. Like, very questionable to say the best. Also, we're going to start to do very slight purchases of consumer goods and stuff to try to keep this balanced out. Once again, it is very, very tight, the kind of budget when you play this build. I will do this just so we have enough to start the colony ship immediately. And we have Cirrus, thanks to these really, really good mineral deposits. Yeah, because these mineral deposits are so good, we can literally just lay off on buying minerals entirely and have a good amount of minerals to continue to build everything we need to, which is really, really lucky. I'm not going to sugarcoat that even a little bit. That is freaking amazing. And as you can see, our planet is slowly turning into all labs. And now also, by the way, we're going to stop all traditions. No more traditions for us, as traditions are going to be too expensive, Unity-wise, as we want to finish synthetic as soon as we can get it. By deleting our Unity producing building, our Unity production is going to tank, and we'll just barely be positive in Unity, and it will not be worth it at all in order to actually try to produce Unity. But as you can see, we are also flying through these techs, which is something amazing. Now, which planet do we want to colonize first? Let's pause and take a look. This planet is just better with more districts, so we'll go ahead and colonize this one first, as we'll be able to probably make this into a great mineral world. If this empire is friendly or a trade build, we'll be looking really good, and that will be a very, very lucky spawn, as we are indeed a megacorp, and we can use that to kind of cheat our way into many, many energy credits. Also, we will clear this sprawling slum in order to gain access to an extra pop. It just seems like a wise thing to do, and we can honestly start to delete our food districts in exchange for city districts, as we don't need any food districts, as we're not going to be working any of those jobs very soon, especially after we synthetically ascend. Those food districts will be almost completely worthless. And as you can see, even with the plus 20% research speed, our economy is still very good. This is the power of having a very lucky leader drop with the trade focus too, and by making sure you produce energy credits at the beginning, where our energy credit production is quite good, and then laying off on it after that is no longer the case. Also, we can go here, and we want to start taking over these systems, as we do want to maximize our planet count as much as possible. Probably taking this first and then that would be better, but AIs usually expand linearly and kind of predictably, so we don't have to worry too hard about that. Also, we forgot to keep our corvettes actively exploring out into the galaxy, which is a bit of a mistake, but it should be okay, as we're still going to discover it soon enough. I know one thing that people pointed out is if you get cloaking as a research option, is you can actually put cloaking on science ships instead of to automatically explore the entire galaxy, and it will automatically make first contact with everything, basically by itself, without ever getting interrupted or accidentally shot down, which is a really nice tech to know, you know what I mean? It's just one of those small things that reduce the amount of micro you have to do in order to explore the entire galaxy. Of course, that's kind of like a mid-game-ish thing, and is also probably how AI empires usually eventually discover most of the galaxy. Also, as you can see, our food is getting really bad, which is why I started this first hydroponics farm. And I will prioritize this one food job, so hopefully we'll have enough food to last until we ascend, but it is looking a little bit close. Take a look at our tech, 76 months left. That is a bit of a stretch, but hopefully we can make it. Our first colony ship is out, by the way, which is really, really nice to see, as these colony ships and this Genesis uplifting will be our primary source of Unity in order to actually finish the synthetic tree, which is quite funny. definitely not a cheap way to finish it. Also, we want to probably buy a few alloys, as this build is really, really short on alloys, and it is more expensive than I find it worth to try to produce any. Even without the roboticist job, it is still expensive. Also, as you can see, our jobs are starting to dwindle. Our pops are 32, which is still more than most empires would have at this time, or maybe just about what they would have. But yeah, we just want to continue researching techs. Obviously, we don't need food subsidies, so let's just take something else. As you can see, with only -2 food, we'll definitely be able to ascend before we run out of food, as that's a few hundred months of food, and our pops are only going to keep going down, lowering our food usage. Yeah, this empire, if it's friendly and a trade build, I'm going to be so happy, as that will kind of keep our economy afloat forever, basically. If it's not, unfortunate. One thing to keep in mind is that I find that in multiplayer games, it's actually very easy to get packs, especially as soon as you've played enough games to become a known name, which is not many. If you play 5 or 6 games, people will start to recognize you, and people will treat you a lot nicer once they know you're not a threat or crazy or trying to attack them at all costs and that kind of thing. And it becomes very easy to get into trade federations and that kind of thing, which can be really, really beneficial for builds like this. Yeah, and as you can see, our homeworld is just Pepega, research lab, research lab, research lab, research lab, research lab, research lab, which is quite funny. Our second colony ship is a little bit out of reach in cost, but we will slowly build towards it, like so, ever so slowly. This is an amazing deposit, by the way. That's like 10 resources just from one deposit. That's crazy. That's really efficient for our what's it called, to build as well, which is really, really nice to see. I have to say the space I'm getting in this game is really lucky. It's more lucky than most, so I'm gonna have a slightly better basic economy than most, which is, I guess, always nice to have. And I think I should start to use this basic economy to try to start the second colony ship as soon as possible. But right now it's still a bit of a stretch, as it's a bit more expensive than I really have access to. But once again, we have all these colonies available for when we can afford it, so it won't be too bad. And once again, we're just continuing. Research lab, city district, research lab, city district. Though we do want to leave one empty district on our homeworld for a nice little building we're going to get access to as soon as the situation is done. 314 tech, year 8 is also quite good. Yeah, it's just nice about tech rushing with no regard for anything else. One reason why the economy is able to sustain itself, by the way, is because this identity repository creates a crazy amount of trade value that sustains itself and gives you free tech, right? So I'm getting 75 or 78 tech from this for 26 energy upkeep, but it also produces 26 trade value, which pays for itself and increases our robot output by 13%, which is just a 13% free boost to resources for basically no reason, which is extremely broken. Anyways, we're going to continue to just, work through the tech tree. Though as soon as this is done, we're going to cancel it in order to change that to the uplifting tech, which is very important. Breakthrough chance is still not very good. I'm just trying to remember to continue to move these ships out into space, try to find more empires, and try to make contact with more enclaves. Excuse me. And kind of give us more goodies that way. I feel like this is fine. If you want to really mini-max, you can do something like this. And deprioritize the clerks and have just enough. Like some mini-maxing like this is probably a little bit better, produces a little more. Generally, I find it quite exhausting to do, but it's not a bad idea. Oh no, there's one thing I completely forgot to do, which is skip the agenda. Every time you skip an agenda, by the way, turn the education campaign on. And basically what this is going to let us do is we can put our highest level leader. That's a level 3 scientist. That seems like it's worth it. That is super, super lucky, guys. Level 3 scientist for free. Or not for free. It was a lot of unity, but that's extremely lucky. So we can go ahead and put her in, and yeah, beautiful. And now if we unpause time and wait for the month to pass, we're going to see that our dark matter income is going to spike a little bit, and we can go ahead and sell that for some extra profit. Yeah, as you can see, we're producing how much dark matter now? 2.44. So we can't quite sell 3, but we can just leave this on, and this will produce a lot of energy credits for us. I don't know why I selected aggressiveness. Guess hostility is always better, but I don't know. I have no idea which one of these is better. Never thought about it, to be honest. I usually don't put too much thought into those things because, at least in multiplayer games, you're so busy clicking the crazy amount of pop-ups that are coming at you. It's hard to have the mental space in order to think about small details like that, unless it's something important like a scientist or a governor. Also, if we take a look at this, we are flying through this technology, 37 months left. Generally, I find the goal for a good run should be 2012, and the goal for a bad run should be 2013 in order to finish that technology. If you're significantly different from this, you should probably take a look at what you could be doing wrong, such as playing on the wrong map settings, or potentially just not covering your entire homeworld with research labs as soon as possible, which is just such a funny thing to do, as the economy just somehow doesn't murder itself, which is quite funny. But as you can see, we're also running really low on energy now, as we can't quite maintain this 3 energy cell, or this 3 dark matter cell, but that's okay. Also, here's our first colony. The first building we want to build is a district that will help us sustain our economy, a mining district. Of course, it looks like our energy is bad right now, but keep in mind, our energy is minus 40%. So as soon as wow, it feels so bad to skip colonial centralization, but we need to take this epigenetic triggers in order to take synthetic whenever that becomes available as well. Look at our unity without it. Yeah, not really good. Not really good unity at all. Another option you can do is you could build another lab on this planet. I generally find it's better to leave this building slot for either a technician job, not a technician job, what is it called? A roboticist job, increasing our pop assembly, or a job that boosts the output of the planet, so like a mining, mineral purification plant, or whatever it's called. You currently don't have access to that tech, but in the future, that could be a really good idea. And yeah, just take a look at this. Like, our planet is just so incredibly Pepega. Also, I'm going to continue to use regular city districts, be replacing agriculture districts, just so we're not going to increase the upkeep of our planet for no reason. Just a small detail, I guess. And 362 tech we have hit at year 10, which is a decent number, I would say. I'm sure it's possible to do more, but I don't think it's possible to do too much more. And we got 21 months until this is done, which means we'll finish probably either just at the end of 2012 or at the beginning of 2013, which is, of course, what I said I considered an okay time. Not bad, but not amazing. Also, we're going to spend another 100, alloys to colonize this. It does feel bad, right? As we would rather, spend it on another colony ship. But I need to kind of aggressively fight for a few more planets, as the AI will probably get this planet, which is something I probably should have done, is to cut them off here. But for some reason, I forgot and didn't. So, oh well. And non-aggression pact, yes, yes, yes. We want to make every pact possible. Embassy, improve relations, as we want to get access to stuff like commercial pact as soon as possible. Guarantee independence, just everything. They're belligerent, so I'm a bit worried if they find someone else, they'll like declare war on them or something, but for now this should be fine. This should build trust really quickly. If you're playing multiplayer, you can do a trick where you trade resources back and forth to build trust extremely quickly. Of course, less recommended in single player, where they won't trade you the resources back. Now, if I can actually get this researched and steal this, that would be freaking amazing. As um, I feel a little bit bad for the AI for some reason, even though I'm locking them in. I am a very non-aggressive player in multiplayer in the sense that I rarely do conquest over other people, which is a bit of a weakness. But I just don't find it fun to kind of ruin other people's day, or at least it would ruin my day if somebody did conquest over me. So, um, it's always nice to have both moat harvesting traps and moats. I guess I'm not exactly sure what would be the best tech option in that one. Um, but yeah, 11 months to completion, just under a year. Really, really nice to see. I'm not going to cover this with a tech lab because this is going to be a save for a special building for the situation. And 3 months until this uplift is available, which is really nice. Favorite society is nearly halfway through. Also really nice. Why is our council legitimacy so low? Oh, I don't have a single egalitarian on the council. Um, which is a bit of a problem since I don't see any egalitarian events available for purchase that are better than my current leaders. So I guess we'll just have terrible council legitimacy. That kind of sucks. Basically, if you don't already know, council legitimacy is what determines your council agenda speed. It's also reflective of how happy your pops are with your empire, and if it's low, that's just generally not optimal. At the same time, there's nothing you can do about it. If the easy solutions that are normally available, such as having a leader that matches their faction on the council, right? I mean, I'm not going to put a terrible leader onto my council just to make them happy. So unless I was having much larger issues than I am. Now, as soon as that tech is done for uplifting, take a look at what's on your capital. So these are Othari. We're going to go into our species and we're going to uplift Othari immediately. And this is because we need that unity. We're going to want enough to go through the synthetic tree as fast as possible, as this will give us access to some of the most broken traits in the entire game. Also, I'm going to move my ship here just in readiness for when this is done, as we might actually beat the AI to this, which would be really, really funny. Yeah, 371 tech, a decent final score, I guess. One thing that I do say we're probably doing pretty well on is we have pretty good engineering research speed, plus 58%, nearly plus 60% speed basically there, which is really, really nice. And that's from our very lucky leader rolls and purchasing this level 3 leader with the Spark of Genius trait, which is just a really nice 6% boost, plus, having another scientist on the council. It's really, really nice. And that tech is almost done. Very exciting. 2012 finish and kind of even towards the middle of it, which is a really, really, I want to say good score, basically. I would say this is a lucky run. So, time for a synthetic awakening. If you see this machine template system, take this no matter what. If you miss this tech, this build can be much, much more painful to play. Also, as soon as we take this, we'll get a new what's it called situation. Maybe as soon as the month passes. Oh no! I forgot. We have to take synthetic first. So let's take synthetic. For this one, I think specialist pop resource output is the most important. Worker resource output plus 10% is actually underrated. But specialist resource pop is some of the hardest to come by. So let's go ahead and take that. Another thing we're going to want to do here is watch our energy credits bounce back, as we're no longer getting minus 40%. We're going to want to go into the synthesization situation and, of course, take full speed. We're going to lose some engineering research and some monthly alloys. But if we take a look at this, we have so much engineering research speed that we still have not negative 100%, which is pretty nice. And, of course, this will switch our pops over as fast as possible to synthetics. Also, at this point, let's take a look if we have enough for a commercial pack yet. We don't, but almost. Which is really, really nice. Let's see, who else have we not made contact with? We should honestly start doing that. I want to keep this guy improving relations until we can make this commercial pact. Don't know why I saw a negative downtick in their approval of us. That's pretty sad. Beautiful. Probably take more energy as we are trying to scale and be friendly with our neighbors, and we did indeed miss this, which is a bit unfortunate since they cut us off from the north now. But that's not a big deal. 5 planets is a pretty standard amount, and it's kind of good to show what the build can do with a normal and not amazing amount of planets. One thing we're going to want to do is as soon as we get this commercial pack going, let's go ahead and do that now. One thing is that we're also very close border-wise, which is going to be really nice, as it is going to be really, really cheap. Is this a trade build? 128 trade value is a lot. Huh, interesting. That is amazing. Anyhow, we need 30 energy credits, so let's just sell food randomly, I guess. Establish this branch office, and we can also, because we have a lot of minerals, build a commercial forum to increase that a little bit more. And immediately, we can almost ignore energy credits, which is really amazing. Let's watch the month pass here, and we're probably going to have like plus like 50 energy credits or something. It'll be fantastic. And we can use that to buy alloys, because we don't have enough alloys, so. One thing I want to do here is I also want to build a robot assembly plant. And there we go. As you can see, the uplift, I didn't see the exact number, gave us like 1500 unity or even more, something like that, which is really great. And I personally like to go down this tree first, as this gives us +1 roboticist job for free, which is really nice. And here's something I've never really been able to decide on, is whether it's worth rebuilding the roboticist job on your capital. For now, I'm going to leave it alone, but I might build it up a little bit later. Also, why did our energy credits not increase? I'm a bit confused. Wait, monthly trades, buildings, trade, 31 stations. Where's branch offices? Did I not just build a branch office here? Branch office value, 68. Is that not producing 68 energy credits for me? Like, I'm a bit. I don't see branch offices here, but I'm gonna assume that's a bug or not updated. Anyhow, let's ignore that for now. Once you get this situation, virtual salvation, always select let them enjoy the nirvana. The identity repository building is one of the most broken buildings in the entire game, giving plus 18% robot output, 36 trade value, and over 100 tech. Also, since how am I supposed to get enough alloys to produce another colony ship right now? This is so annoying. Also for this, I like to say, let us mix our minds. This seems to lead to the best options in the future. Following this is going to be very important. Here, when you hail the synthetic dawn, you also get +2 robot modification points, which is really, really nice. And remember, we're also researching robot modding, so as soon as that is done, we're going to be able to do some really, really nice pop traits. Also, this is why I left a building slot, is to build this identity complex, which is going to give us additional pop assembly speed across our empire, which is really, really nice. And we can just form this research agreement, even though we're not going to learn much from it. And here we go. See, it's so weird. The thing didn't update immediately. Now that it's updated, we're getting plus 58 energy, which is what it should have been like at the beginning. And this will finally allow us to purchase some alloys to actually have an alloy income. Yeah, very, very strange how that doesn't work. Also, we're going to want to start to increase our industrial capacity and build an industrial building. Migration treaty is probably something we don't immediately want. Also, I forgot to start immediately uplifting the next species of pops for more, what's it called, unity. That's just a brain fart there. That is my bad. Um, Also here, I don't want to immediately start working these culture worker jobs, but that is not a terrible idea. Also, we will spend some... I forgot to turn off education campaign. Oh, no. No wonder that was hitting our energy credits. So we've had minus 25 energy credits this entire time, basically, and we were still able to maintain a great economy. Um, what is this? Offer migration treaty. Decline. Don't really want that, and yeah, that's pretty embarrassing. I just did not notice. I can't even lie. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate there. But hey, sometimes it happens, and you gotta live with it. But it's also a good showcase to see that there is some variance in this build with some luck that we've had, such as having these good systems over here. We've been able to easily survive through this negative energy credits. Also, let's go ahead and sell some of this and just like bulk purchase some alloys, as I want as much alloys as possible right now. Look, we already got Dyson Swarm. And I'm going to go ahead and change this to Forge Capital soon. Not Forge Capital, but Empire Capital. 2 Roboticist jobs here will be nice as soon as this uplift is done. Species. Oh, a statistician. Perfect. And if we take a look at our technology speed right now, 45% plus across the board. Really, really nice. So even with the 423.7 tech, which is of course good for this time, it's even better because our research speed is very fast. As we're biological empire, basically, right? And biological empires do have really large advantages when it comes to technology speed. This is kind of one of the reasons why tech rushing on bio is actually mostly still the best, even compared to Gestalts, which is really, really nice as, well, I prefer to play bio empires. I just find them more fun. What can I say? Also, let's go ahead and build these mining stations here, as that's going to be a really nice little bonus, and we have enough to do another colony ship here. So let's go ahead and buy some food. Oh, we need more energy credits. Ooh, we're missing just a little bit. That's so funny. We bought and sold alloys. That's kind of just an inefficiency of play there. That's fine. We do want to get that going as soon as possible. And also, as we can see, we have a few extra dark matter productions, so we can go ahead and sell a little bit more. In addition, we can turn on baryonic insight for just a 10% bonus to monthly physics research. If we need more energy, we can sell a little bit more. Both are good options. And basically, what we're going to want to do now is we're going to want to max out research, max out unity, and start to industrialize our capital as fast as we can. If we ever see a technology such as alloy megaforges, we're going to want to take that. And this also means we're going to want to start getting access to these moats. Also, we're selling too many. Oh, we weren't ever producing that many, that much dark matter. It was because we failed to sell it because we hit 0 once. Okay, that's pretty funny. We're not actually producing that much dark matter. Good to know. Also, it looks like our uplift finished, which is really nice, as this means we can turn this into a mineral world and start producing a good amount of minerals here. I want to deprioritize the cultural workers here, as we do want this to maintain being a mineral world. Excuse me, I got a couple burps there. That's a bit annoying. Also, on this mineral district, we don't have to build moats, actually, as we're going to get moats from this. Of course, the thing decided to build the energy station first instead of the moat station, but that's just what you get for not manually inputting. Which is a bit annoying, I guess. Yeah, but as soon as these industrial districts finish, right, we're going to have... Also, oh, we're still... Why are we working a farm? That is a bit annoying. What are we looking for here? don't think we need to build a chemical plant, as once again, as soon as this moat is finished, what we can do is we can start buying monthly moats, as we do have a little bit of spare energy credits, right? And this will quickly build us up to the amount we need to build our, what's it called? Alloy foundry. And we're just going to get ready and build the building now. This will decrease our tech a little bit, but once again, our tech is so good because we've been rushing tech the entire game, right? From the beginning, we've had 370 tech since year 10. Is we don't actually need to have amazing tech up to year 30 in order to have very good overall tech. That's kind of a crazy upside of this build, right? And there we go. That's one industrial district. That will allow us to switch to Empire Capital. And we are short one pop here for maximizing that, but that's okay. Also, we will have to switch this back. As you can see, this is unmaintainable right now. Robot output plus 10%. Let's go. Also, let's just switch this back now, as this is stressing me out, as I'm probably going to miss it and accidentally mess up my empire a little bit there. We do want to continuously build, as our pop assembly is going to get really high really quickly, which means we don't want to fall behind in actual buildings, as it can be really difficult to catch back up if you do. So let's continue these buildings continuously rolling out. Here there's planetary build speed and exoskeletons. I'm just going to take exoskeletons for the bonus basic resources. That's a close call though. Both of those are amazing techs. Here we have pop growth speed. We don't want to take this yet, as we still haven't re-rolled colonial centralization, which is of course a very important tech for capital worlds and stuff like that. Yeah, basically, as you can see, our pop growth is getting really fast, and because our agenda speed is going to be really good, we're going to continue to kind of push out those agendas as well. Yeah, basically at this point, by the way, can we uplift pops before the colony is done? Unfortunately, we can't. That was an optimistic thought, but it would be really funny if we could. Let's swap this back to Empire Capital for a bit. Just kind of maximize this alloy output. We don't want to switch to alloy focused yet. It does seem really efficient to work 5 and 3 jobs like this with the alloy income we have being the way it is. You know, it does feel quite unfortunate, but it's going to be better in the long run, as we still mostly need a high amount of alloys, or need a high amount of consumer goods for tech and stuff if we want a hard tech rush. Alternatively, we could ally rush and show what a year 30 build would be like, but that would be better with catalytic and anglers, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So maybe I won't do that. Also, once again, just continuously keeping the buildings. It looks like I'm building into empty space now, as we have less workers than we have jobs, but trust me, it will not be like this for very long. So we're at 99 empire size here, and synthetic yield is coming up. So we're going to try to skip that agenda, actually. Also, we can switch this back to factory capital now. Also, let's do this is let's purchase the last 20 or so moats, queue this up, and then delete the moat purchase. As you can see, our tech did take a little bit of a hit. But basically, as soon as we unlock the buildings that increase the efficiency of our industrial jobs, we want to basically immediately delete those jobs, or delete tech labs and replace it with these buildings, and we can rebuild the tech labs on a different planet, like this fine little alpine world here. Also, let's go ahead and just speed purchase the last few alloys here, as to not accidentally mess something up. Wait one turn, and we are going to colonize with our good old... Oh, shoot, I just realized again, we can just sell food. Go ahead and colonize this. I'm not going to use the lithoid pop there, because I don't really want the lithoid pops screwing up our pop growth speed and making it really slow. Anyhow, yeah, we're just going to try to colonize as fast as we can now. Also here, I remember there was something I needed to do. I don't remember right now. We'll think of it soon enough. I'm not too worried. We've got a little hive mind here. Let's go ahead and continue to find new potential partners. Okay, this is a good one. Mineral purification is fantastic, allowing us to run mineral subsidies, but I'm about to modify my species. If we take a look at this, we don't have access to the dark matter traits yet, as we have not gotten access to modularity yet. But as soon as we do, we're gonna wish we had this. However, not rolling mineral subsidies has bitten me too many times and has made the game very hard. So we are going to take mineral subsidies. Feels bad to skip out when there's two fantastic techs like that. Also here, I think take atmospheric filtering of all things. Just more tech like that is good, I guess. Or more habitability on some of these planets, so we're going to have more mediocre habitability. I do not think we'll play a trade build this time, as I don't particularly feel like making a trade federation. It does mean our unity will be a bit weaker than if we did play trade, but our energy credits and other things will be a little bit stronger. So, which is weird to say, because actually technician jobs are actually just quite efficient. So that's always really nice. Also, let's switch this back to Empire Capital once again, and we can finish off this here. And we can take either Tech Ascendancy or One Vision. I'm going to take Tech Ascendancy, actually, as I do want the increased research speed here. As you can see, our research speed is really, really solid now. And on this new planet here, I think we're going to go Robot Assembly and then into continuous labs. That's probably what we're going to do. I'm just going to set this to a tech world as to not forget. As you can see, our technology is just flying now, isn't it? Oh, yeah. This is what I want to do. I want to skip this agenda before the cost updated for being over 100 empire size. Unfortunately, it already did, but since we finished that tradition tree, which is all we really needed to do, now we can use this to get synthetic yield, boost our leader XP a little bit via statecraft, and in addition, take progressive growth, giving us mechanical pop assembly speed, and take a look at this. Let's find a planet with a robot assembly plant. 9.9 pop assembly already at year 18. And this is only going to get faster, which is just really awesome. And of course, another species to uplift, giving us more unity and more free pops. And this will also eventually spawn a new situation, which will allow us to either get virtuality on our pops, not giving us infinite pops the way virtual Ascension does, but giving us virtual traits, basically, such as virtual research focus. And we rolled Arc Furnace. That is so incredibly lucky, guys. It is hard to describe how lucky rolling Arc Furnace is. And I think I will go an alloy heavy build here, so I could switch to militarized economy here. I might regret this, though. I will leave it on civilian economy for now. But we will continue to. Where's this headed? Why didn't I? Let's get this to colonize that. That seems a little smarter. And let's make a new colony ship to colonize this. We don't have enough alloys. Alright, let's wait a couple turns and then we shall. Okay. Here is very important. Let's pause. Alright, study the incorporation of AIs, or tuning research into memories and profit. Now we want production and profit, so we're going to take this. One thing that's important is if you ever see anything that offers you virtuality focused, say no to it. We actually want to go modularity. Modularity plus synthetic fertility with these synthetic pops and this extreme pop assembly this early into the game is really, really broken. We'll see very, very quickly as soon as we get access. Like, look, we rolled arc furnace at year 18, and that was with our first 11 years of tech. 11 years going into random stuff, essentially, right? Our first 11 years of tech. Um, Also, I've decided I am going to just switch to militarized economy here, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to buy more consumer goods in order to make up for it. And we're going to go heavy on alloys for year 30. Not as heavy as the catalytic angler build or anything like that, but we're not going to go light. I also completely forgot, guys, to build this and to do this. So, oh no, we don't have enough. Honestly, we don't really need the. Okay. Allow unrestricted body modification. Whenever you get this, very important to click this one. We want to be more materialist. We want to allow more modification. Modularity is, of course, based around modifying your pops. So anything that increases that or kind of sounds like it's moving in that direction is what you want to click. A lot of the times, the prompts say a lot of different things. It's kind of confusing sometimes, but that's kind of the direction you want to go for. If you want to go into virtual or AI or that kind of thing, sometimes it's not the best option. All right, let's go ahead and continue this. Yeah, 46 alloys now. Really, really nice. Yeah, of course, I mean, it's not amazing. A lot of builds can produce more alloys than I'm doing and much more alloys than I'm about to do at year 30. But to have the same amount of tech and scaling potential with this extreme pop assembly is not common. Also, that uplift is complete. Now we can start to use this unity to start to finish the likes of prosperity, which is really nice. Of course, we have kind of more pops than fit on this planet now, which is quite funny. Also, make sure a scientist gets elected. We don't have enough unity to guarantee that right now. But yeah, scientists are really, really broken on the council when you're tech rushing, as well. It boosts the research speed. And look at this research speed right now, plus 60 and 85% for society is really, really good. We are going to be flying through techs. Also, we can go ahead and build our last colony here. Yeah, and yeah, as you can see, while we had no colonies at the beginning, we're really quickly catching up. Okay, we need to ban persistently virtual addictive worlds. Persistently addictive virtual worlds, because we do not want to go to the virtual tree. By doing this, this will almost certainly let us take modularity, which is of course what we wanted in the first place. The virtual tree does have its benefits. I've heard from other players it is possible to take the virtual tree and gain modularity pops from another player. I personally don't know how to do this, but maybe it's like through a migration treaty or something. I'm not 100% sure, or Conquest taking over one of the pops and then making a template out of it. I really don't know. But if you're cooperating with somebody and know how to do that, that is a very cool technology that you can do, which, well, I don't know how to do, so I'm not going to show you guys. Also, who was elected? A scientist. Great. And we can go ahead and assign another scientist back to the council and, well, maintain our nice scientist surplus. And wow, we get this tech here. That is amazing. That means we'll probably be able to immediately get late game pops from like year 22, which is freaking amazing. And once again, we want to turn this into a tech world, so, well, we can start to continuously build technology on this planet. This world can either be another mining-based world, or it could be an energy. I'll probably use this as a tech world, another one. And let's see what these are like. That's not a good energy world. That's not a good energy world. So this world will be energy plus tech. So let's go ahead and let E plus R, energy plus research. This can be just mining. And our capital will serve as both consumer goods and minerals. Alright, so this is the most important thing. Once you get an option like this, you see this, it unlocks advanced traits for species modification. This is ultimately what we want to click. And if we take a look at this now, Create template. Boom. Modularity traits. Beautiful. Dark matter engines is the reason why we took the dark matter civic in the first place. This allows us to get 40% resources from jobs for almost no dark matter. It costs 1 dark matter to maintain, what, 50 pops? That is almost nothing for plus 40% resources output, especially. So, anyhow, with that, beautiful. A scientist paragon, as we wanted in the first place. Boom. There we go. Another scientist for our council. When we reform this council, if we reform this council, we can try to get even more scientists in there. It's going to be awesome. Wait, did that ruin my edict fund? No, it didn't. Okay, it actually increased a little bit. Do we have enough to run both? No, not really worth it. Also, yeah, let's continue to build industrial districts. Let's not forget about that. Let's buy a few more minerals here, as our energy credits are amazing thanks to this trade build over here or something. I don't know what they're playing, because they just have a lot of trade value, I guess. Multiplayer, a player trade player would have much more trade than that even, right? Which, kind of shows you the potential of playing cooperatively with trade builds. Also, we got more planets, more uplifts, and more potential for technology. So I think this will be another tech world. So let's label this as such. Boom. Feral behavior. How? I'm a robot now. Oh well. I hate this event. I hate this feral behavior event. Whatever. Sometimes you get it. Nothing you can really do about it. Let's get some managed executives working. So we'll increase our amenities a little bit, which is nice. Make sure we never stop building. Okay, here we do get cloaking. Let's research it. Why not? It'll be good to automate some science ships like that. Oh, no. There's another thing I completely forgot to do. There's so many clicks you guys. I always forget. I don't have enough Unity. Well, that's a bit of a skill issue right there. Also, we need to purchase a few more consumer goods, just to be safe, especially until this industrial district finishes. Start moving this back immediately, as we do want to start our arc furnace. And also, let's take a look for second arc furnace sites. 15 is good. 15 is good. 18 is amazing. I'm just checking the number of arc furnace deposit sites, which you can now do by mousing over the system that you've just merely visited, which is a really nice touch. Also, I have completely forgot to keep my science ships active. This is a bit of a skill issue, as to be honest, you never really want to stop exploring, surveying, and so on. Also, let's cloak this when we can. I've never used cloaking before, I'm not gonna lie. I've never bothered to mess with it. Well, let's root out the problem here, as this devastation is just so disgusting. It's so annoying. Also, I've never known if this works, but I always do it just in case. Does this give me like 50% more or whatever? I don't know, maybe. It's worth doing. It costs like 50 energy to do it. Excuse me, I'm coughing a little bit. Yeah, I've never known if the education campaign there actually works with events like that, but I always do it just in case it does. Why? Modified probe. I gotta send my stupid Corvettes all the way up. You know what, we'll make a new Corvette. I'm not bothered to make a good design, I'll just make two. Okay, let's make sure we remember to use this Unity to actually build an arc furnace, as arc furnaces are very broken. And now we also got the robot modification points. Now, we don't have access to gas yet, exotic gas. I don't think we ever rolled the tech. Or let me just make sure we don't. Nope. Yeah, we don't have exotic gas tech, so we can't use the exotic gas trait. It is not worth going to a deficit for that because it will bankrupt your empire, I'm pretty sure. But let's pick everything else. So we want dark matter energies. We want adaptive frames to, make sure we don't have to micro these pops for every individual planet, which is something I hate doing. Engineering core is great. We still have more picks left. And of course, I guess we can go mass produce. Is there anything else good? Let me put high bandwidth on just to check. Recycled. I mean, some of these traits are nice, but not mandatory. I guess durable is good. I guess we can go emotion emulator and durable here. Exotic gas consumption is better. Or rare crystal exterior. So let's do that, actually. Rare crystal exterior is only going to be good on our homeworld, right? But I am personally way too lazy to micro different pops for each planet, right? So what I do instead is we create template, we apply to everywhere, and we just call it a day. Also, we need to build a mineral rare crystal plant as soon as possible, as we don't want to go into a rare crystal deficit, which can be a bit... Are we in a moat deficit? Oh, I missed it by a... It hadn't started yet, but we just hit it. I mean, it's whatever. It's minus 5% resources from jobs. It won't get much worse before we fix it. Oh, we do have access to gas. I forgot we had this event. Oh well. Am I bothered to switch it for 10% resource from jobs? No. I am way too lazy. Why am I prioritizing colonist jobs? What? This is why I still dislike this event. It just tanked the economy of this planet for no reason. For no reason. Oh well. Oh well. Also, what were we trying to do here? Right. I needed to send this down to murder the modified probe. I need to send this guy back. You can turn it to passive. It'll let it survey the system, despite the fact there's other things in there. Let's build a couple construction ships to start getting that rolling. Let's put not capable of being cloaked. Did I not research Oh, I have not researched cloaking yet. Okay. Also, I can see this energy shortage coming. Screw it. Let's continue to build tech. I'm greedy. What can we do with this planet? Let's turn this into a refinery world, I guess. Oh. Let's not label it. I just realized our research and our refinery are ambiguous. Let's just know that's a refinery world. Beautiful system. So I'm kind of short on minerals now. Let me think about this. Yeah, I guess we just need more minerals. Like, that's it. Yeah, we just need more. Mineral planet. Produce more. Come on. This could be a second mineral planet eventually, but right now I said it would be a lab world. Just go ahead and do that. Let's get ready and move this down. Let's build this into a starport as well, just to capture some of the trade value there. And we're going to need more starports eventually, so why not? Let's get these guys to produce gases, because, well, it's better than what they're doing now. And just continue to uplift pops for unity. And yeah, as you can see, it's 2223. We're producing 62 alloys. Not amazing. I'll just give them 100 energy credits. That seems like a good exchange for peace. I don't feel like dealing with any military stuff right now. This looks like a great system, by the way. A lot of good deposits. We have a rare crystal shortage. Of course we do. It's because we have a pop that built with it. And of course the job was not auto-prioritized. So we have a rare crystal shortage. Let's go ahead and fix that. And yeah, very soon though, our economy is going to start to fly. It is almost guaranteed with this build. As soon as this, um, what's it called, species modification is done in a few months or 9 months. So yeah, so what is special about this build? Like right now, it's year 25. We have 490 tech or 450 tech. Why did it just drop so much? It's because we went to like another deficit somewhere. I don't know. We're also running low on consumer goods, which means let's build more of this. Oh shoot. Um. Okay, let's just watch this carefully and make sure this industrial district finishes in time, because otherwise that would be pretty funny. Yeah, we just don't really have enough minerals, eh? Don't really have enough minerals. Let's go ahead and make this guy start building minerals. Let's send this guy down to build this, and then the base later. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to do education campaign there. That's fine. Small difference at this point. But yeah, I guess we're just gonna continue to build out. Like the mineral shortage does feel a bit annoying, but it's honestly not too bad. We're only kind of missing a few buildings. And look at this assembly speed, by the way, 12.4. Really, really nice. I know some players get like as high as like 16. I don't really know how. Uh, let's also make sure to continuously upgrade our arc furnace, as that is going to be a fantastic source of minerals. Also, our consumer goods are a struggle. Screw this. Let's do factory capital for a month or two. Let's finish this off. Take one vision, boosting our unity and our pop happiness a little bit. Yeah, this really sucks as we are in militarized economy. So as you can see, our artisan efficiency is in the dust. Not looking great. Here is another planet. What do we do with this planet? So many planets that I'm not really sure what to do with. Could just make this into another tech planet. That is my that is my funny thought. I think I might do it though. I think I literally might do that. And this is why I kind of regret immediately going to factory capital or factory focused, as we can't switch that for a little while longer. And now I do need more consumer goods, as there's so many worlds I want to make into factory worlds. I guess we'll solve that by doing this. Is we'll make a, can't afford it right now, but we'll make a consumer goods building, civilian industries, and that should make this a little bit better. Just a little bit, I hope. Also, when is our situation going to finish? Did it already finish? Oh yeah, 588 tech. Yeah, it did. Beautiful. Also, we did increase our energy consumption just a little bit, so we need to start on this energy world. For now, what we'll do is we'll just cut down on this. Sell a little bit more dark matter. And yeah, we really need this civilian industry, I think. Otherwise, I'm going to have to keep juggling this capital, which will drive me crazy eventually. Does suck to delete more technology. But yeah, building this like double arc furnace this early as well, of course, amazing. Let's just calmly buy a few more consumer goods in the face of absolute disaster. Oh, I really hate this. Let's just go factory capital for just a little bit. None of these are great, but weather controlled systems is great for working towards a Ecumenopolis. So let's do that. As you can see, our artisans only make 10, and our metallurgists make 10 as well, which is quite funny, because I have not rolled the civilian industries building yet, or if I have, I missed it, so um, that's a bit unfortunate there. Yeah, as you can see, like across the board too, we just don't have enough minerals. I really should have turned one of these into a mineral world, but I think the arc furnaces will kind of take care of that eventually. It'll just, it's a little bit unfortunate timing that right now I need minerals badly and I'm just a bit short. But yeah, with this pop assembly, we can imagine just how powerful we can become quite quickly. Yeah, this will be our energy world, I guess, because, well, it looks like the next best energy world. This world, I think I said, was going to be refineries. But right now, they're just going to be overpopulated with no ability to do anything about that. That's fine. Let's finally switch this back to Empire Capital, boosting our alloy output. Once again, as I mentioned before, it is difficult to be ready for year 30 combat with this particular variant of this build without catalytic anglers to really boost your alloy output. I mean, I've seen players who would probably be capable of it, but me myself, no, especially not without a pre-planned trade federation to really, really break the economy of the game in a way that's really fun, but not very balanced. Like pre-planned trade feds with a megacorp um, are just so powerful. Species, we have more species to uplift here. And yeah, as you can see, our minerals are just draining through these arc furnace buildings, which right now aren't very efficient, but very soon they will be really, really good. And well, we get alloy nanoplants before we get the tier 1 consumer goods building, which is pretty funny, but I can't say no to that. Should we turn this to a second? No, we should not turn this to a second mineral world, as from experience, I can tell that we are going to be limited not by what's it called, minerals later on, as well, the arc furnaces have very high energy output and very high mineral or very high energy um, upkeep, right? Which means that energy is going to be hard to come by compared to minerals later, as they do produce almost 200 minerals each, meaning that minerals will likely just be much less of an issue as soon as these arc furnaces get rolling. Also, alloys, which is why I kind of regret going into militarized economy so early, but that's fine, to be honest, as why not have a really good economy for that? Why not? Does this? Yep, that needs an upgrade. Oh, this planet needs an upgrade so badly. Oh well. Oh well. Yeah, this is quite funny. There's just not enough jobs. Come on. I need a city district. Screw it. There we go. Let's go ahead and do this. Now you can see how good our economy is now. 202 unity, 622 tech, it's year 27, 61 alloys, 171 minerals, with 2 arc furnaces currently being upgraded. As you can see, right, our economy is not going to be a struggle for very much longer. It is going fantastic. Boom, there we go. I've got more lost to bureaucracy. Honestly, free pops at this point. Like, let's make this the 3rd research world. It might seem excessive to have 3 research worlds, right? But here's a tip that everyone should know that I haven't mentioned up to this point: is on your main resource planet, such as your main generator planet or your main mineral planet, every spare building slot should be filled with either labs or special resource jobs for whatever miscellaneous things you need, either rare resources or maybe like a Psycorps or like any high efficiency building, um, but especially labs. And the reason why you want labs on your resource producing worlds is look. Let's take a look at Tech World. It gives researcher upkeep. That's it. That is a really, really poor bonus, I would say. Most other like world specializations give that resource. Mining designation, for example, actually increases miner output. So the best place you can really put your labs and such is simply just place them on your regular worlds, right? And yeah, they don't lose any output from being on worlds not specialized for them. They only lose upkeep, and upkeep is less important than output. So that's just a little trick you guys can use in order to really maximize your empire. Is this Minister of State currently my person? Nope. So I'm just going to turn them into an advisor. Besides an industrialist, which should be your main governor for your main sector. Also, I never connected the sectors. Oh, that's really silly. And I never connected it because these damn things are not surveyed. Ah, I'm silly. Alright, and because we're scaling, screw anything military. We don't need to scale. Or we don't need to militarize. We need to just scale and build tons and tons of tech. Anyhow, with this in mind, I am going to start to play a little bit off camera and kind of show you guys the progress on how this goes. Oh, all right, guys. It has now been almost 5 years. It is now what do I say? 1934. It is now 2234. What you'll notice now is we're producing a comfortable 200 alloys plus 38 consumer goods, so that's not in a deficit, and an enormous basic resource income with 400 unity and 850 tech. Basically, all I've done is I've literally continuously on these planets maintained a constant build queue of new buildings. We just kind of keep rolling them out as fast as we can. Um, Basically, what we're trying to do now is we're just trying to increase our tech as fast as possible. You can imagine if we were playing a year 40 peacetime or multiplayer game, which is relatively common. I would say 35 is kind of the average you get in multiplayer these days. Um, a popular server called Star Sanctum, or not popular, but a smaller one, uses year 40 piece. A lot of games use 30 or 35. But in these longer peacetimer games, a scaling build like this is scaling to the point where it's just not going to be possible very soon for other non-virtual builds to catch up. Our basically next goal now is we did take Transcendent Learning. I'm pretty sure waiting for something better would be more worth it here. Primarily waiting for the Arcology project. Probably would have been better there, but I forgot when I selected it, so that's a bit of a skill issue there. But yeah, as you can see, all we're doing is we're continuously building on all planets whenever possible, fitting in research labs on basically all available random spaces in our empire. And yeah, just pushing out as much tech as possible because tech is really the name of the game, and we want to rush mega engineering at this point, which is still at this point far down the line. But like only something like Clone Ascendant could keep up, and they would not be able to have this amount of alloys at this stage while rushing tech this hard. Also, we should also be careful and not accidentally spend our Unity like that again in order to cause this kind of thing to happen where, well, we can't afford to start our next arc furnace. This arc furnace is only a year out from completion, so we're going to be pushing nearly 300 alloys when both these arc furnaces are done. Yeah, like as you can see, like how easy is this game? With 400 minerals and 250 energy credits, there are no concerns on that part. Imagine we had more than 6 planets. Basically every additional planet, you can just continue to add more and more tech worlds, right? Because as you can see now, the biggest restriction is still literally the speed at which we can build is limiting our progress. right? If we could build more things, also you can see we've just finished cruisers, so that's perfect for when we need to militarize. We're still lacking on military technology for weapons, right? But cruisers are great ships, and with high alloy income, all we really need is disruptors to have like a perfect year 40 fleet. I think I've skipped disruptors a few times by accident. Now that I should be looking for yeah, I should be looking for disruptors, right? Even tier 1 disruptors can do fine. A little trick for disruptor meta is if you're doing disruptor versus disruptor meta, one thing you can do to bait your opponents is to produce ships with very low tier or no armor and shields at all, because right, disruptors hit hull, and if you expect to fight other disruptors, um, they'll see a tiny fleet number and they'll go, well, I can beat that. And then they'll fly in with their disruptor fleets and they will get completely vaporized by your disruptor fleet, which is actually larger than theirs because there's more disruptors, right? And more ships, just with terrible stats that are tracked by the very, very inaccurate, military power system, which will say yours will be like 12k, they'll be like 20k, they'll fly into you and you'll win. And they'll be like, what happened? And you don't have to tell them, but you'll know it's because you had very weak ships. I've done this to a couple players before, um, and it's quite funny. Of course, don't do it if you expect to run into anything except disruptors, because if they don't have disruptors and let's just say they copium couldn't find them and are using freaking like blue lasers or something like that, you're gonna get owned even by like the worst tier of random other weapons if you have no armor and no shields against anything that doesn't bypass, which is very funny. Um, yeah, as you can see, we're now at 250 alloys with a 6k stockpile. One thing I do want to do is I want to get some starports ready. One thing we can do here is we can turn on Fortify the Border. Don't really need to turn on capacity subsidies, right? Our income for that is so good. We're going to do the cheapest tech here as to try to roll tier 2 disruptors before year 40. I'm basically at this point pretending that year 40 is the peace timer. But yeah, as you can see how hard we're scaling. Also, our exotic gas income is actually really good thanks to that annoying event. So I guess it wasn't too bad after all. Without those exotic gases, we can of course just pump out these research labs, which is a little bit faster than city district lab, city district lab, city district lab, in exchange for the consumer goods, or not the consumer goods, the gas upkeep, right? But luckily for us, we have tons and tons of gases. So, oh, and there we go, ion disruptors. So that's a perfect year 30 fleet against other disruptors. Of course, if you're fighting non-disruptors, you're going to win. It's a bit lame, but it's kind of just the way it is. Disruptors beat non-disruptors. What can you do? Is there also any way we can get up here? Maybe like experimental subspace navigation or something like that. Don't have that tech yet though. And we also get the Galcom. As soon as we get the Galcom, we're going to want to immediately propose form the galactic market, as we have capped influence anyway, right? And the galactic market is extremely important for selling your excess dark matter. If we take a look at this now, we're producing 6 excess dark matter, and that's only going to increase. You can go ahead and be friendly to everyone. We can indeed take pop growth now, though it's also valid to just go and assimilate a lot of these species now, as we don't really need their pop growth. So I mean, we can slowly just start to assimilate these all into these Veritas cat girls, which are just going to be amazing. Or maybe they'll assimilate into their own species. I'm not really sure how that works. I forget. Spare no expenses. That sounds fine. We're so rich, right? It just doesn't matter. What are we at? 400 times 3, 1200 tech. Yes, you are starting to understand how freaking broken this build is at this point, right? At least I hope so. Mining station output is great for our arc furnaces. Increase our fleet size a little bit would be nice. And let's take a look at what kind of ships we can start building. Once again, we have cruisers, so that's almost certainly the right choice. And we have broadside core for the all disruptor build. We have terrible armor, but once again, this terrible armor. If we fight non-disruptor fleets, we're going to win. If we fight other disruptor fleets, who cares? And we are a little short on energy, so we will have to give this a little accelerate booster. These ships are really slow, which is unfortunate as we do not have afterburners. But once again, most likely we're going to be not going on the offensive, right? Because we're outscaling other builds. And we can go ahead and, I guess, create a couple fleets of these. Once again, it's going to be a relatively mediocre fleet number compared to a full military rush build, which probably have something like 3 to 400 tech year 30, but producing close to 180 to 300 alloys instead, depending on how well you're doing. These numbers are possible with something like DA Arc Furnace Origin, which is a build I want to make a video on in the future, but I am terrible at Gestalt, so I need to learn how to play that better, and then I can make some videos to show off a lot of cool Gestalt builds. Alpha M Centauri. We can have more dig sites, why not? Here, hyperfocus is probably the best option. Also, take a look at this. Let me pause. I don't have curators, alright? And we're plus 80% technology speed. Amazing. With curators, we'd probably be close to plus 100%. If you guys don't know what the curators are, it's an enclave that can massively boost your technology speed, which is just often really nice to have. If you don't run into it, it's not a big deal. It's not necessary. It's just like a nice 10-15% boost. And finally, we get civilian, tier 2 civilian industries, which will allow us to sustain many, many, many more researchers, which is really, really nice. Also, I forget, did we ever find the production facilities building? I forget what it's called. It's in the society tree. Boosts metallurgist and consumer goods production, but I don't remember exactly what it's called, and I don't think I've researched it yet. Yeah, do pop growth speed here again. Also, we can continue to pump these out. I completely forgot to build more shipyards. That's a bit of a skill issue. I do not have the shipyard tech. That is funny. Not a big deal, but pretty funny. And let's also just take on fleet supremacy here. It costs like 10 unity because we're going over the unity cap by like 10. That's okay. Yeah, hopefully we can build a good amount of fleets before year 30. Ooh, afterburners. I did really want to take that mineral tech. I'm not gonna lie, I am that greedy, but let's not do that. Just do advanced shields here, I guess, or get rid of some of the techs with high weight, which are annoying. As you can see, we're at 1500 tech, very balanced build, or not quite 1500. We're a little short, like 1400. We're 1400 tech and 270 alloys. 270 alloys at this stage is just enough to deter high, very meta players from destroying you and that kind of thing. But I'm gonna be. Why did it promote 5 specialists? Oh, sometimes this game is not very friendly. Also, we should spend the rest of this planet for. First of all, let's make this a refinery world. Refinery world. We're gonna need to put more exotic gases there. Cruisers. Boosts our cruisers. Yeah, just look at how fast this tech is going. Like, this is live speed. And the techs are just flying out. Freaking amazing. Yeah, like these exotic gases, just everything. Crazy, crazy good. By the way, how much is this producing? 6 exotic gases? Like, it just shows you, like, the raw output numbers of having all the modifiers we have on our pops. It's just insane. I mean, that would usually be like 3.5, even on like a clone army build. And we're also making 400 consumer or 400 minerals. We did screw our energy because half the pops decided, hey, let's promote ourselves for no reason. Pretty annoying, but let's see when we can get to 2K tech. Can we get it like year 41? Probably. Probably. Of course, our fleet is gonna suck, uh, but that's fine. Our shipyard issue here is a little bit embarrassing, but that's fine. Just don't have enough shipyards to push out these fleets as fast as we can. Also, don't be alarmed when you see like some numbers and small negatives. It's really easy to deal with this if it ever gets low, right? And we can really, really easily, prioritize this or something like that, and then the problem will be solved. We are too weak. Okay, they want to be subjugated already. For some basic economy, let's do it. And well, these are Grand Admiral AIs, by the way. These are Grand Admiral AIs. And it's just that easy. Let's take a look if we have any more neighbors. There's a lot of hives around me. I don't know why. So many hives. And keep in mind, we have 6 planets. Imagine we had just a couple more. Like how much tech we could have by now. Yeah, wild to think about. Also, we finally hit that production facility building. What's it called? Ministry of Production. Ah, right. I don't know why I'm really forgetful when it comes to names like that. Yeah, let's see when we hit mega engineering. Our tech is like so good. We should not take too long. And I very embarrassingly have maxed out my resources, which is not the best look. Let's get some more starports ready for resource silos because we're gonna need more of those very soon. There's nothing I hate more than building star bases, to be honest. Oh, we found more commercial packs. Wow. Oh, that's one we already had. What the hell? Why do they have to remake the agreement? Weird. Departmental efficiency. I'm too lazy to toggle the stuff on and off at this point. Like, too many clicks. I'm going to instead just make sure we're building as fast as possible. Artificer output. Perfect. Our fleet power is decent now. It's about 10k. Most good players will probably have close to 30k now if they're playing more meta builds. If they're really good players, they'll be pushing 40 or 50k if they're rushing military, right? So we don't really have enough to defend against that. But obviously, if we were, we would just not build 1500 tech, and we would build some more stuff to help with that. Also, this consumer good income is getting a little bit concerning, but this will fix itself. Very soon, at least, as soon as this building is done, and of course, the Ministry of Production. So let's move this up a bit. Also, I forgot to mention, guys, I got a 3rd Civic, and I just took Masterful Crafters since I didn't know what to take, and Masterful Crafters is decent. This will also let us, delete a couple of these districts, city districts, in exchange for more industrial districts. It's all good. I think I don't want to build too many researchers on that planet and want to make sure there is enough space for what's it called, energy districts. Here we're building more gas. That's good. And let's just go ahead and do this. And yeah, just look at this tech go. Look at it go. Also, I really should assimilate more pops now. So let's go ahead and just keep assimilating. The downside of assimilating all our species, right, is our pop growth will slow down, right? But as you can see, currently that is not a huge issue. As long as we have some pops growing on some of these planets, right, it'll be fine. Resettlement. We just want to leave one. Probably should have left a lithoid, to be honest, so that they can grow on all the pops, so we don't have to micro it. So yeah, if I was paying enough attention to be bothered to mini-max, that is something you would do. Obviously, our tech dropped a little bit as some pops are being uplifted right now. But yeah, I mean, we can see the crazy power of this build. Crazy, crazy power. We are now 1.5k tech. Still, even with the uplifts, 300 alloys, 500 unity. 500 unity is not great, let's be real. But it's not bad at all. It'll still let us finish the tradition tree in a reasonable but not amazing time. Why would I accept that? Yeah, this is really, really nice. Yeah, freaking damn amazing. Yeah, I will say we are getting slightly limited by pops, so let's be careful not to uplift every single pop. So we just have still some biologicals to grow everywhere. It's basically free assembly, right? Really crazy that we still haven't hit orbital rings. Our tech is really, really good, so I guess just not great luck on that department. Also, if we take a look at our fleets, what are we working with now? Like 15k. Not great once again, but also disruptors. Gotta remember, disruptors are heavily, heavily undercounted, as the game doesn't consider them as very strong. Yet they are the strongest in the game until people get hardening, which is probably in about uh, 10 years. Most players will have hardening, in which case we either need our own hardening to beat theirs, or oh, is that a new contacts? Shazak. Where is it? Oh, it is. Okay, sweet. We can get another what's it called? Branch office. Keep it well, that's a bit unfortunate, but you get the point, right? If you're mini maxing, you would build relations with everyone, um, and try to maximize that as fast as possible. We are of course not bothered because I am lazy, and it's just unimportant with how good our basic economy is. Like once these fill in the last remaining jobs here, we'll be fine on that department. Yeah, just beautiful, beautiful economy all around. You guys get the idea. We're going to have rings soon. We're going to have rings around all our planets. How do you stop this build? Well, you have to hit it hard and early, or they will win the game. Anyways, that's all for this build. I will play on, and I'll show you guys at what time I unlock key techs. Alright, we're back. It's 2252, and we're at 450 alloys. Our ecology project has only done a bit of progress, right? But we're already making pretty late game alloy numbers. And we're making 3k tech now, with what's it called? Largest tech income being from engineering, which is a nice touch too. We're researching battleships. We have citadels done. We're upgrading to Citadel right now, which means mega engineering is probably coming soon. And we've done it. This is basically the beginning of the end game. It's 2253, and there we are. There is mega engineering. It'll take 24 months to complete with our tech. We're now making over 1k of each tech, making almost 1200 engineering research. For some updates, here's how I like to manage my planets. Now, we do have one vassal, but they are producing, honestly, a very small amount of energy credits, 180 energy credits, and 120 minerals. But here is how to manage planets throughout the mid and late game. In mid game, basically what we want to do is on your planets that produce resources, like this is my main energy planet, right? Is we want to build, of course, as many energy districts as we need. I don't really need much more, thanks to being a megacorp and not having a big navy yet. But as I need more, I would build more energy districts and filling up every one of the remaining slots with as many research labs as possible. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, research labs efficiency are not affected by the planetary designation, which is the reason why you want to fit these research labs on every spot available. For example, on our mineral planet, on all the excess slots besides, the original crystal plants we built in order to get access to crystals, are filled with research labs. Of course, our dedicated research planets are additionally filled with research labs, but once all these slots are full, what we actually want to do is we want to take a look at our basic resources and which one we're going to need more of. Energy credits in the long term will be more scarce, as, well, we're going to need more energy credits in order to maintain larger and larger fleets. And we also have this matter decompressor site, which will provide us with a near infinite amount of minerals, right? So we won't need more minerals. And what that means is we want to simply fill up the rest of the slots with generator districts, and that last building slot with a building that increases the efficiency of generator districts, and then we can just toggle this world into an energy world and another energy world and so on and so forth, or it may be minerals or food if that's what we needed instead. And that is generally the best way to manage planets. Of course, we have a designated refinery world filled with refineries to suit our rare resource needs. And yeah, in the future, what we would start to do is we might integrate our subject, and we'll simply convert all their worlds into fortress worlds. Fill them with fortresses to increase our naval capacity. That's kind of the late game play, right? And on our home world, which will eventually become an Ecumenopolis, it will be able to house so many people we can move all the pops over to the Ecumenopolis, producing massive, massive amounts of alloys, probably 2 to 3k from a single planet, if not more with the amount of efficiency stacking we have. In addition, we'll obviously need more minerals to support that, coming from having megastructures this early. That shouldn't be a big problem. And as you can see, this build is completely broken. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. It was really fun recording it, and hopefully it shows you a little bit on how to play the most broken build in Stellaris that does not use virtual. Thanks for watching.